what I am, what makes me, what motivates me lately. I've been asking myself that exact same question. Stand alone in my own section. No glamour, no chains, and no fame. It's so strange, it feels like things never gonna change. I write bars with beats banging out in the background to drown out thoughts of losing. Moving from home to parts unknown, unfamiliar chances. Advances, few and far between. Success is hardly seen, an object hard to gain. It's not a game, I know this. Hate showbiz, but for the home team I still maintain the focus. I'm not gonna blow my turn, I know it's plenty of dough to earn. Look, yeah, yo, life's a gamble. It's like a test to see how much a brother can handle. Without flying off the handle, you gotta remain focused, be careful, get the cash in handfuls.
Trying to get mine till it's all done. Trying to get mine till it's all done.
Yo, it's getting dark earlier now. The seasons changing, watching all options. Yeah, not many to choose from. It's like either winning or not. I've been given a lot and haven't got back. I know I'm about to collect though. Correct foes for not thinking the same. You think you can hang, but think twice. Cause sometimes this life is just like a roll of the dice. And I don't play them high stakes a lot. Cause it takes a lot and I've ran into snakes a lot. But when you create from the heart, these things happen. I'm trapped in the biz, cold as Aspen. Try to move correct, not lose connects. I'm vexed, I'm like one sec from noose and next. My notebook got lines on it, forcing me to cross the lines with words that happen to rhyme on it. Yo, life's a gamble. It's like a test to see how much a brother can handle. Without flying off the handle, you gotta remain focused, be careful, get the cash in handfuls. Yo, life's a gamble. It's like a test to see how much a brother can handle. Without flying off the handle, you gotta remain focused, be careful, get the cash in handfuls.
Trying to get mine till it's all done. Trying to get mine till it's all done. Trying to get mine till it's all
See, the
done.
object of the game is to win. So I can take the money, never have to run. Take the money, never have to run.
Real in the field. Yeah. It's type gritty out here. Struggle continues, Yeah, y'all. This is what I am, what makes me, what motivates me lately. I've been asking myself that exact same question. Stand alone in my own section. No glamour, no chains, and no fame. It's so strange, it feels like things never gonna change. I write bars with beats banging out in the background to drown out thoughts of losing. Moving from home to parts unknown, unfamiliar chances. Advances, few and far between. Success is hardly seen, an object hard to gain. It's not a game, I know this. Hate showbiz, but for the home team I still maintain the focus. I'm not gonna blow my turn, I know it's plenty of dough to earn. Look, yeah, yo, life's a gamble. It's like a test to see how much a brother can handle. Without flying off the handle, you gotta remain focused, be careful, get the cash in handfuls.
Trying to get mine till it's all done. Trying to get mine till it's all done.
Yo, it's getting dark earlier now. The seasons changing, watching all options. Yeah, not many to choose from. It's like either winning or not. I've been given a lot and haven't got back. I know I'm about to collect though. Correct foes for not thinking the same. You think you can hang, but think twice. Cause sometimes this life is just like a roll of the dice. And I don't play them high stakes a lot. Cause it takes a lot and I've ran into snakes a lot. But when you create from the heart, these things happen. I'm trapped in the biz, cold as Aspen. Try to move correct, not lose connects. I'm vexed, I'm like one sec from noose and next. My notebook got lines on it, forcing me to cross the lines with words that happen to rhyme on it. Yeah, yo, life's a gamble. It's like a test to see how much a brother can handle without flagging off the handle. You gotta remain focused, be careful, get the cash in handfuls. Yo, life's a gamble. It's like a test to see how much a brother can handle without flagging off the handle. You gotta remain focused, be careful, get the cash in handfuls.
Trying to get mine till it's all done. Trying to get mine till it's all done. Trying to get mine till it's all
See, the
done.
object of the game is to win. So I can take the money, never have to run. Take the money, never have to run.
Hello everyone, my name is Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is April 12th, 2023. And altcoins are finally just now joining the party. Altcoins are just now breaking out, okay? So obviously, if you guys have been paying attention to the crypto markets, you'll know that Bitcoin has been going up and breaking out of a crucial, very, very important multi-month resistance, okay? This resistance right here, the neckline of this inverse head and shoulders, which was about 300 plus days of resistance, okay? That breakout is still ongoing. Okay, and the target of that breakout is essentially the inverse, or the height of this inverse head and shoulders from the neckline, superimposed from the neckline, should give you our target up here, thereabouts, okay? And yesterday we were talking about how there are many different, ways that we ultimately yielded this level right here between 38 and 42 as a target for Bitcoin before another, retracement, okay? So 38 and 42, it's the target. I'm not going to, rehash that analysis. If you're interested, just watch yesterday's live stream. But yeah, we're expecting Bitcoin to go to between 38 and 42. More specifically, I would say 40, just, thereabouts. 40K from here, and it's going to matriculate up and up and up. In terms of a time frame, I would not be shocked, I would not be surprised if this happened within the next 7 to 9 days. Reason being, the next new moon is on the 19th or on the 20th, I think, and that's about in 7, the research shows that on or about the new moon, so 0 to 3 days after the new moon, you reach a local market high. So I think that gives us about 7 to 9 to 10 days to reach this target. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, okay? So that's Bitcoin. That's where we're at. And now altcoins, because this is really what people want to know. Most people that are in the cryptocurrency space are involved in altcoins, right? That comprises about half of the entire cryptocurrency market cap, right? Bitcoin, the other half. And, you know, altcoins are just more popular. More people are interested in altcoins. A lot of people have the perception, whether right or wrong, that Bitcoin is too expensive to purchase, or that they can't really achieve their goals of financial independence, you know, through purchasing Bitcoin, because the return on investment won't be high enough, right? So a lot of people are interested in altcoins. A lot of people are holding altcoins. A lot of people want to buy altcoins. But up until now, altcoins have not been doing as well, okay? They've been doing okay, some of them, but in the aggregate, they haven't been doing as well. We come here to the Bitcoin dominance chart, okay? Bitcoin dominance is the measure of Bitcoin's complete, the percentage or the proportion of Bitcoin's market cap vis-a-vis the entire cryptocurrency market. And here we can see what that means is when Bitcoin dominance is going up, that means Bitcoin is gaining on in terms of the market share in you know, vis-a-vis the other cryptocurrency assets, right? Mostly because they're dumping. You know, either Bitcoin's pumping and they're not pumping, or Bitcoin's dumping and everything else is dumping more. Okay? But now, when Bitcoin dominance goes down, it typically means that altcoins are gaining against Bitcoin because they're rising faster than Bitcoin. And that's what we're starting to see here. Okay, and this is consistent with what we've been saying on the channel. If we zoom out, we understand where we are. Context is everything. You can see that we're in a channel, and this channel has shown us that time and time again, right, since April of 2021, right? That's approximately 2 years. For 2 years, this channel has proven this level to be resistance, okay? So now we're at this level once more. We should expect another rejection as we've had in the past, okay? So now let's go back to the small time frame. So you now understand the context. So this shouldn't surprise you. We peak our head above, we get a rejection, and now we're starting to head down with Bitcoin dominance, okay? So yeah, this is why we can expect altcoins to start moving, okay? It was always the idea that, you know, this was close because we were always close to this resistance, and this area right here proved to be intra-wave consolidation, and then you had one final wave up. But now I think you're going to see from here, I think this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 situation. You're going to start to see this distribution over here, something like this, and then finally a big move down, okay? But you're going to see altcoins finally gain against Bitcoin in a major way. And please understand that that little move right there isn't really, you know, life-changing. It's not much. But what we can expect on a higher time frame is for the bearish divergence on this weekly time frame, right? If you look at this stochastic RSI momentum indicator, the bearish divergence to play out on the Bitcoin dominance, so it comes down all the way. So just imagine if just a little tiny move in Bitcoin dominance shows you that altcoins start to wake up against Bitcoin. Imagine what a larger move like this, and then a break of this, an ultimate break of this channel will mean for altcoins. This is why people are attracted to altcoins. This is why people hold altcoins. This is why people buy altcoins. This is why people can get away with minting the most ridiculous altcoins, because altcoins really rule the day in terms of return on investment. So altcoins are waking up, okay? So we can see that in the Bitcoin dominance chart. And we can also see that if we look at the total 2 market cap, okay? The crypto, yesterday we looked at a chart that showed the entire cryptocurrency market cap. That was the total market cap chart. Today we're going to focus on this chart, which is the total 2, okay? So it's the total cryptocurrency market cap excluding Bitcoin. And what you can see here is an interesting development that, like Bitcoin, you created this Wyckoff accumulation, if you want to call it, or this accumulative channel that absorbed all the supply dumped on the market at a lower cost, okay? And that is pretty much complete, okay? And just like Bitcoin, you can do your Wyckoff analysis on this if you like. You can observe that we've been in a sign of strength. A sign of strength is a consolidation at the end towards the resistance of an accumulation channel, okay? So if you look at this as being your Wyckoff accumulation channel, here is your support. Let's try that one more time. Okay, good enough. Here's your support. Here's your resistance. Your sign of strength is what you print before you break up and out of the channel. And that's exactly what we're having now. This is on the daily time frame. You can see it start to peak up. And if we go on the smaller time frames, whoops, don't want that. If you go on the smaller time frames, you can see, all right, this is our sign of strength right here. It looks like a triangle, okay? For those of you who study elite wave theory, you'll understand that triangles are A, B, C, D, E patterns or structures, and each of these waves is comprised of 3 waves, okay? So 5 waves of 3. And there are consolidations. There are 3 types of corrections in the Elliott wave. There's flat corrections, there are zigzag corrections, and there are triangle corrections. So this would be a triangle because it's consistent in terms of support and resistance with a triangle, with a wedge, okay? So I would say that this is my A wave, this is probably my B wave, this is my C wave, this is my D wave, maybe this is my E wave, or this is my yeah, probably correct that this is my E wave, 1, 2, 3, like that. And so I'm looking for a breakout here, okay? That's my rough sort of read on that. In any case, despite, you know, the minutia, the particulars of the wave count here, it's quite clear. You have a clear support that's rising. You have a clear resistance that's rising in a wedge form. So altcoins are breaking out right now because this seems to be the ultimate resistance. Once we break, we retest, it's over. Okay, so this is what we're seeing on the smaller time frames using the total to cryptocurrency market cap, okay? It's really showing us that not only will this triangle of, how long is it? This 27-day, you know, month-long triangle, not only will this month-long triangle break, but this also represents, and more importantly, represents a complete and utter break to the upside of this accumulation channel, okay, which you could say is the bear market accumulation for altcoins, okay? For 300 plus days, let's measure. Yep, almost exactly 300 days. You've been accumulating spent supply, okay? So you've been accumulating up and down and up and down within a steady range for altcoins. That is your cause, and the breakout is the effect. Altcoins are just about to break this, okay? And going back to what I said yesterday, the timing and the occurrence of this is not something that happens every day. Like, most of the time, the market's going like this, okay? Very, very seldom is the market marking up. Very seldom is the market marking down, okay? So, the fact that we're here, you're listening to my voice, we're paying attention, we're probably exposed to the market, to these altcoins, right before, on the precipice of this markup, is special because the time that it takes for the markup is not going to be anywhere close to as long as it's taken to accumulate. It's going to be much less. So it goes back to what I said yesterday. It's kind of like a rare celestial alignment, you know, and that happens, and there are opportunities in that period of time, and then once it's finished, it's finished. It doesn't come again for a while. That's what a breakout on a high time frame is. You know, these markups, these bull markets do not last long. By the time you hear about it and you think about investing, all that stuff, you're towards the end already. So although it took us a long time to get to this point where we're about to break out of these 300 days of accumulation, understand it's not going to take 300 days to complete this breakout. It's going to take much less time. So just hold on and let it play out. So that's the total 2 analysis of altcoins and why altcoins are just now and finally breaking out. Okay? So what we want to do for the rest, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the very, very, very important, most important indicator on this channel is the DXY, the US Dollar Currency Index. And what happened yesterday? A massive breakdown of this head and shoulders. Okay? You could see here. We are going. We have a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder, and a perfect breakdown, almost textbook. The height of the head, right, superimposed from the neckline, gives us our target. Okay? What's good about this is, because it's bearish, because it's an impulse, a continuation of the trend, don't expect a recovery from here. Expect another and another and another. It's just a series of bearish patterns, right? That's what an impulse is. It's a series of bearish patterns making for like a successive chain reaction of bearish constructions breaking down. Okay, and just as, you know, bullish markets are series of bullish constructions breaking up and out. Okay, so here you're probably going to see another head and shoulders form for another breakdown. Okay, and that breakdown is going to be massive. But this is what we're seeing on the DXY. This move is what took us, what started our breakout in altcoins and in Bitcoin. Okay, let's now go to Bitcoin, and then we're gonna move on to some alts specifically and see how certain alts have broken out and others are just about to do so. Guys, if you're getting value, please like, share, and subscribe. I would appreciate it. I don't have anything to sell. It's just fun to get likes, collect them all, okay? And subscriptions. I have nothing to sell. I'm a full-time trader. Make all my money trading the markets. Okay. Just looking. What was I paying attention to? Oh, I was paying attention to Dogecoin. Okay, cool. Very nice. All right, let's do Bitcoin, and then we'll go into altcoins. If you have any altcoins you want me to look at specifically, put them in the chat, please, and we'll have a look. Okay, so Bitcoin on the smaller time frames. I just want to show you one thing. Wow, they got rid of the auto as well, didn't they? Let's see if I can't. Nope. Okay, let me see if I can't figure this out. Trading view keeps changing. Oh, there it is. Auto. I don't know how to do that quickly. I can't do that quickly. I guess I just have to do it like this. Okay. It used to be right here, the button for auto, and then they just removed it. It's interesting. Anyway, here in Bitcoin, we've been in this channel right here for since yesterday, or since Monday. This channel, its purpose is to flip previous resistance into new support. That's all it is, okay? The idea that 30K is just going to be broken and not retested, and I think it's more specific, right? 29.6 or 29.7, whatever was major resistance. Let's zoom out so we can actually see what we're talking about here. Okay. So you can clearly see that this order block here is what we're working through. And more likely than not, you probably had this order block is what we're working through. Okay, and so I don't imagine it'll take super long, but every single time you're working through a resistance, you have to retest it as support. And so this is what I'm seeing with this channel right here. Okay, I'm seeing this as a triple three. 3 waves. Here, let's see it on the 15-minute time frame so you can really see what I'm talking about. Here. Just a series of 3-wave corrections right here. I think it's quite clear. W, X, Y, X, and I think this is your final capitulative move, your Z wave, okay? And then what you're getting here is the beginnings of the continuation, okay? So let's turn on volume and see if we can't get an indication that that is a correct read. And yes, here we have indication that this is a capitulative move. You can see this volume candle right here is significantly larger than any of the other ones in this range. Okay, so every corrective pattern ends in a capitulative move. It ends in an impulsive move. So this you can typically see with volume. So what I'm expecting right here is the beginnings of a consolidation reversal, bringing us up and out of this 333 correction. Okay, so like I said yesterday, if you're in a bull run, if you're in an impulse, what you do is you get breakouts and you get bull flags, or you get breakouts and consolidations, right? Same thing. You break out, you consolidate. You break out, you consolidate. You break out, you consolidate, right? So this is just one of many consolidations. And as I said yesterday as well, the consolidations are typically shallow. They're relatively quick, right? Because if it's truly an impulse, you go up relatively quickly in the aggregate, so your consolidations don't last too long. Okay, so that's Bitcoin on the small time frames. I'm still seeing us coming up to 40K, just like I said in the very beginning of the stream. Okay. Altcoins. So altcoins have yet to go impulsive, actually, and let's just stick on the 15-minute time frame. We looked yesterday at these altcoins on the higher time frame and what they may be willing to do, what they're likely to do. But you could see since yesterday, we put in this move down, and now we're putting in a move back up. Okay, so the context of this, I think we can understand better if we go on the hourly time frame. And here's Cardano. You can see that you've been in this channel of consolidation for a decent amount of time. And let's see. I'm trying to see, like, in terms of the wider context, how to read this. It's a little tricky, I'm not gonna lie. This is tricky. It is a series of what the hell I hit. This is a series of consolidations for sure, but what it means in the aggregate, I would have to backtrack for a second. Okay, I'd read this as a three-wave move down, three-wave move up, three-wave move down, and I would say this is a five-wave move up, right? Yeah, this is a five-wave move up, and probably a three-wave move down. Okay, so I think in the context of everything, I'm looking at these two waves as being complementary. I'm looking at these two waves as being complementary. When I say that, I say this is an A wave, this is a B wave, this is A wave, this is a B wave, right? Every single time you look at corrective waves, they come in pairs. There's no like solo corrective wave. There's always an A wave, there's always a B wave. There's always a correction and a counter correction, okay? So that's how I'm understanding this. And when I look at this, I'm seeing a five waves, so a correction, and I'm looking at all of this as being a contiguous counter correction, okay? So let's just focus on that. What I think is a flag, right? It's a flag, like a bull flag. Okay, let's focus on that really quickly. Let's stay on the hourly chart because I think that the 15-minute chart is too zoomed in. So what am I seeing? Okay, this is legitimate in terms of a zigzag. Firstly, because, and most importantly, because this entire thing, in some way, shape, or form, has retraced to a minimum of the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level of this flagpole. And if you noticed, I checked that first, right? Because you can't have a zigzag without having a minimum 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level. So I checked for that, and that was hit, right? So now all we can do is, I think, look at this and try and make sense of what that means. Like, it's probably a complex flat correction, but like now let's see if we can't read it. My eyes drawn to this as being the middle, and I like to read these complex corrections from the inside out. So I don't know if you can see that, but I'm seeing the very inner part. That's a clear three-wave move. It's a B wave, okay? And so this is an A wave, and this is a C wave. So this whole thing is a flat correction to me, okay? So that's the innermost part. And so if this is a B wave, this is the A wave. Just trying to figure out what this is. Okay, yeah. That makes sense, right? This is the B wave. I'm sorry. This is the B wave. Right here. Okay, so A, B, C. The B wave is going up. Okay, so this entire flat correction needs to go down because this correction is going up, right? Because the larger move is going up, right? The impulse wants to go up. So if this is an A wave of some degree, right? You can call it alpha if you want to call it the pivot. If this is an A wave, this five-wave move that's going up, this entire complex flat correction has to somehow go down to be the counter, right? This beta, the counter to this alpha. Okay, so when I'm reading it inside out, I would read it as such. Okay, that's down. That's down. And then all of this inside would be my up move. So you see, here's my flat correction. That's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I think right here, it's safe to say you're looking for a breakout because in the larger scheme of things, and this is the beauty of Elliott wave theory, this is the beauty of zooming out and reading contextually. Because if you're too zoomed in and you're only reading the price action of the day, it's hard to make sense of what the hell you're looking at. If you go back to what I was reading in the beginning, looking at all of this, then it's best, it makes it easier to understand what you may be reading here. It's not 100%, but it's likely, okay? It's likely that you're looking at, a 5-way move, a 3-wave move, a 3-wave move, a 3-wave move. So that's 2 degrees of A basing. So let's just say 1 pair, 2 pairs, and then this is your third and last pair of AB basing, okay? What you would call a pivot, what I would call a pivot, and then a breakout. So I'm looking for a breakout here based off of my higher time frame reads, okay? And so if I'm zooming in here, I want to be able to see an impulse here, okay? So let's once again see if the volume can't help us find increased volume, right? That shows the beginnings of a breakout. And just looking at the volume profile, not so much, right? Because we got a little bit of volume coming up here, but this was clearly corrective. Then the same amount of volume coming up here. So the volume doesn't really help us. So let's get rid of volume. It's kind of one of the reasons you don't see me use volume that much on the channel. Once the volume really comes in, then the move's quite clear in terms of price action. It's obvious. So volume doesn't typically give you the move before the move happened. I don't see that. It's kind of like volume shows you once it's happened, and so it's not super helpful, at least in my estimation. Okay, let's go on the 15-minute time frame to see if we can't find an impulse here or something similar. Okay, the first thing that jumps out to me is this right here. This has to be some sort of wave 4 or a B wave, okay? It cannot be anything else, okay? Reason being, it's way too complex and it's taking way too long to be any kind of wave 2. And what am I talking about? In Elliott wave theory, when you're looking at an impulse, there's only 2 corrections, okay? There's a wave 2 and a wave 4, right? Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4. Wave 2 and 4 are your 2 corrective waves. Wave 1, 3, and 5 are your impulsive or your motive waves, as Ralph Nelson Elliott would call them. So, it's possible that this is your wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4. Okay, it's possible. So, this is a possibility. I'm going to leave that on the table. We may very well get a breakout here, and then a larger retracement, and then a continuation. So I like where ADA is. I like the idea that we may be looking at a breakout, just like I'm hypothesizing, at the forefront. And just like the total 2 market, the total 2 crypto cap chart suggests, right? We may be getting a breakout imminently in Cardano, and that we're already in impulse. Okay, so let's zoom back out to the hourly time frame and see if we can't see any confluence in these other altcoins. All right, so this analysis shouldn't take as long because we have a decent idea as to what we're looking for. Remember, crypto is not not everything's doing exactly the same thing, but a lot of things are sort of mimicking one another, or they're typically unified in a lot of ways. Everything has to be analyzed independently, but once you kind of crack the code on one asset, especially main assets, you can start to see patterns in other assets as well. Okay, so for this, I'm looking at this as 1, 2. Sorry. No. I'm looking at this as my first pair of corrective waves, second pair of corrective waves, and this is my third pair. Okay, kind of like what we just saw in Cardano. So one pair, two pairs, third pair. This is 5 waves up, this is 3 waves down, and these 3 waves down give you a sort of odd, it's an odd 3-wave move, but I think it is still a 3-wave move. Okay, and here it looks to me, just, at first glance, that I'm basting. Okay, a lot of times people see head and shoulders patterns and they think immediately it's bearish. Not true. Head and shoulders are reversal patterns. Inverse head and shoulders are reversal patterns. I think that's the most helpful way to see them. And then you want to look more closely to see if it's going to be a bullish or bearish reversal. Typically, the head and shoulders is a bearish reversal pattern, and typically the inverse head and shoulders is a bullish reversal pattern. But in this case, let's go on the 15-minute time frame. What you're seeing here is an example of a bullish, in my estimation, a bullish head and shoulders pattern, where it's basically some A/B basing going on, where you're putting in an A wave and a B wave, and then an A wave and a B wave, A wave, B wave, and then you break out. Okay, if you looked at charts enough, you've seen this before. You know what I'm talking about. There is such a thing as a bullish head and shoulders. I think this is an example of that. So on the smaller time frames, I like this for continuation to the upside. One, because you really established this level as a base from where to launch. Doesn't look like your price is looking to come below this level. And here, I think it's quite clear. You have put in 3 waves and then 3 waves down to the 786. So this is a very clear base, like 3 waves up, 3 waves down, and whatever we see here is more likely than not, just like what we saw in Cardano, a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your impulse may very well be starting right here, okay, for Algorand. Let's zoom back out and let's go on to our next asset, Arweave. Guys, if you're getting value, please like, share, and subscribe. Hello, Akanksha. What's up? How are you? Akanksha says, how are you doing? Was gone cruising. Oh, I'm doing really well. And I hope you had a great time cruising. Cruising on a boat? Cruising on a motorcycle? What kind of cruising were you doing? So, Arweave. Alright, so we're just going to do the same analysis here. 5 up, 3 down. 3 up, 3 down. 5 up, 3 down. I think you're getting you're getting the same pattern, right? Zigzag, flat, zigzag, right? This is a bull flag, essentially, right here. Let's just focus on this last bit, right? 5 up, a combination of 3 down, a combination, right? A complex combination of 3 down. When we say 3 down in Elliott wave theory, it doesn't necessarily mean that all the corrective waves are going to be 1, 2, 3 counted like that, but it's a flavor of 3. So if it's a double 3, it's a WXY. If it's a triple 3, it's a WXYXZ. This is why we call them double 3s and triple 3s. I was really confused by that at first glance when I first started, because I was like, why the hell you call it a double 3? I can count like 6, 7 waves in here. But it's because everything's a combination. All corrective waves are combinations of 3. Okay, so I'm reading this. What really gives me, what is very encouraging if you're a bull in this asset is the fact that this level right here, this support level, has established itself over a period of time, okay, since March 30th. Every single time you've come up, you've come back. You've come down, rather, you come up. You've come down, you come up. You're more likely than not going to break this whole thing out from this level up and out. Okay. So, that was Arweave. And on the smaller time frames, On the smaller time frames, what are we seeing? Okay, this is very possibly on the really small time frame. We're on the 15-minute time frame. An A wave, a B wave. Okay, so that's your first couple or your first sort of pair. Another A wave and another B wave, just like we saw in the previous asset, whatever that was. Algorand, was it? I don't remember. So this is a flat correction. What we may be seeing here is an impulse where you get wave 1, wave 2, and we're going into wave 3. Okay? So this is good. This is encouraging for continuation. Despite what your momentum indicator is saying, as it's overbought on the hourly time frame. You don't want to pay attention to that too much in strong trends. Or you want to be able to read past it, or not read past it, but read a little more in a more nuanced way. Okay, basic attention token. So this is... Let's start... I don't know where I want to start reading. That's a bit too far. Let's just start from here. My first pair... actually, you know what? I would say this is the first pair. This is very, very long, drawn-out flag, but I think it's essentially a bull flag, right? This is the flagpole. This is the flag, okay? This is 5 waves up. This is a combination or a flavor of 3 waves down. So this would be my first pair. This would be my second pair. And this would be my final pair. So I'm looking for a breakout based off of my high time frame wave count. This is the importance of knowing how to read price action. If you don't know how to read price action, what the hell are you looking at? You're just looking at a bunch of squiggles. And perhaps, if you're lucky, some support and resistance. But then that support and resistance doesn't really help you because you have no context for trying to read that support and resistance. If you're going to do Elliott Wave, learn it well. It's so powerful. Whatever you learn it as best as you can. It will pay off. I guarantee you. It will pay off more than you've ever imagined. Because markets can be read. Markets can be read. You're going to make mistakes, but you'd be surprised how accurate you can get when you learn to read markets fluently. So I'm seeing this whole thing as 5 waves up, 3 waves down. This is a bit of a pivot, just like we talked about. A bullish head and shoulders, okay? You're not going to hear that every day, but they exist. They're not popular, but they exist. Most people misread them because, they only see head and shoulders as bearish and inverse head and shoulders as bullish. Okay, anyway, on the small time frame, basic attention token, I'm looking for impulses. This may very well be it right here. Okay, just like our other assets, this is a pair of corrective waves. This is another pair of corrective waves, right? 3 waves up. Where's this 5 waves up, 3 waves down? This may be a 618 or 786 retrace. In any case, this is a pair of corrective waves, okay? Or rather, sorry, this is a pair of corrective waves. Right there. All this 3, 3, 5 right there. Okay, and so here I would want to start reading most likely impulsive price action. Won't be surprised if we pop up to this level right here. Okay. And let's just have a peek at volume while we're at it. While we're here. Yeah. This is good. Okay, people may think, so like you're a novice trader or analyst may say, oh, look, there's volume divergence. It's going up and volume's going down. It's not going to last. I heard this actually this morning from somebody reading charts. But understand that one of the reasons I don't use volume is that volume isn't there until it is. So once you break a major resistance, then all of a sudden volume comes in. But it wasn't going to tell you it was going to come in before it was. Do you see what I mean? It's volume divergent until it's not. So be careful prejudging a move, the nature of a move, because of what the volume that you see. The volume may just pop in all of a sudden, and once it breaks this resistance, you just see volume come in, and you're like, oh, I guess it was impulsive. I guess it was volume convergent after all. So don't be surprised if that happens. But these moves look good. So far, thus far, we're looking at really strong, impulsive, or potentially impulsive moves. But we're looking at strong support at the very least. Okay, Blur token, just a series of corrections. Let's just do this really quickly. Let's speed this up. Let's see, 3. That's a 3 waves up, 3 waves down situation. Another 3 waves up, 3 waves down situation. And finally, one final 3 waves up, 3 waves down situation. Okay, so you have 3 sets of 3 waves up, 3 waves down situations. That isn't an accident. And actually, what you're looking at is kind of triangular, but I wouldn't say it's a triangle. Is it? Hold up. Yeah, I won't say it's a triangle, but you get 3 pairs, right, of corrective moves. That's what we call 2 degrees of 80 basing and a pivot. It's essentially 3 pairs of corrective waves. Then you can start looking for your breakout. And so that's what we're looking at here on a smaller time frame. What do we have? Just like the other assets, you have this bullish head and shoulders pattern, which is bullish, mind you. Why is it bullish? It's because the price action is telling you that. The price action is telling you that this is a base and there's a lot of buying pressure down here, right? You can see by the wicks on the candles right there. And essentially, instead of looking at this as a head and shoulders, what you can look at it as is a 5-wave move and a 3-wave move down. Okay, so like a zigzag, and then a flat correction, and then ultimately a breakout. So that's what I'm seeing with Blur. Looks bullish. A little different than the others, but still very bullish. Okay, Bonk. This one actually broke out. We shouldn't be surprised. This is a very small cap altcoin. It's like number 2,000 or something on Coin Market Cap. And what you're seeing on this chart is a series of corrective patterns that once again is in the shape of an ascending wedge. I wouldn't count it as a wedge, but it's in the shape of an ascending wedge, and I don't think that's an accident. Okay, I would read 1 pair of corrective patterns, a 2nd pair of corrective patterns, and I think my 3rd pair is over here. Okay, and I think this is the breakout already. From this low right here, I have a wave 1, wave 2. You're going into wave 3, gonna put in wave 4, and then wave 5, something like that. Okay, so Bonk is already breaking out, and obviously this resistance is going to be a major break. That's what we're working on at present. Okay, we're currently working on breaking this resistance right here, which is going to likely yield the height of this pattern right here. So thereabouts right there. So in the immediate short term, I'm expecting Bonk to go up about 80%, just in the immediate short term, before any kind of correction. Once it breaks that, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened in an hour or 2 hours or whatever, right? Very quickly. Okay, Dent, same thing. Look at Dent. Look at Dent. Look at Dent. You're on this neckline, but you've been on this neckline for quite some time, right? You've been at this neckline right here, right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. Question is, are you finally going to break this neckline, right? The next target for Dent is going to be the height of all of this. Now, reading 5 waves up, 3 waves down, 5 waves up, 3 waves down, 3 waves up, 3 waves down. I think you've already started your impulse right here. Okay? This is why your Bitcoin dominance is starting to go down, because some of these smaller cap altcoins, which Den is one, have already started their impulses. So that's a wave 1, wave 2 situation. Let me just check on my position real quick. 1 second, guys. And don't forget, if you're getting value, please like, share, and subscribe. Yeah, this is likely already an impulse. Okay. This is likely already an impulse. So this looks good for continuation. Do you see what I'm trying to see and why I'm saying it's already an impulse? Because this is likely a 5 wave up and 3 wave down situation. And it looks like it took about the same time to go up as it did to come down. So it looks like we're working on the third wave right here in this small degree of counting. So Dodo, okay, 1 pair, 2, let's count this properly. 2 pairs. Ooh. 3 pairs. I think the third pair is over here. Or, hold up. I think this is all one. So A, B, C. Right? So that's a 3 wave move. That's a 3 wave move. Okay. I'll say 1 pair, 2 pair. And then my third pair is probably here somewhere. Let's see where it is. 5 up, 3 down, perhaps. Yeah, I would say something like that. So I would say Dodo may have already started being impulsive over here, but this is kind of a hard to read impulse because it's not as straight up and down. It's tough to read. I'm not gonna lie. It's tough to read. It's tough to read. But what I like is the fact that this right here looks like an inverse head and shoulders that has a lot of strong hammer candles to the downside. So it's very likely that this break up and out, right, in the immediate short term. But this is not an easy read. This is not an easy read. It's, these smaller market cap assets, they're unorthodox, and there's a lot of wicking. This is not an easy read. Okay, this is not something I'm super comfortable saying, oh, this is high probability like this. This is a challenging read. Okay, let's move on. Dogecoin. Dogecoin. This is one of my biggest positions. Let's zoom out even more a little bit. Okay, let's just read 1 pair, 2 pairs, 3 pairs, breakout. Okay, let's see how valid that is. Hourly time frame, zoom in. Let's see. I can see that. But this is, it's not the easiest read. But I'd say it's ugly, but I think... the impulse may have started here. Okay, with wave 1, wave 2, and then a mess of leading diagonal into wave 3. Okay. The impulse may have started here. It doesn't look great, but that may very well be the case, just judging by this wave 1, wave 2 move. Okay. This is a base right here. This is a strong base that we're watching on the smaller time frame. Let's go on the 15-minute time frame and focus on that. Okay, so this, you can see here, lots of candles that have strong wicks to the downside. Okay, that tells us that there's a lot of buying pressure under here. Also, a rounded bottom typically denotes an extreme. Okay, it's likely that this is an extreme, this is a bottom. Okay, just on the small time frame, that's 1 degree. I'll say all that is another degree, and then this is your 3rd degree. Breakout right here. I'm comfortable with that. On the small time frame, you also have to read 2 degrees of AB basing and a pivot. Do you see? After any drawdown on any time frame, you want to read 1, 2, 3 pairs of corrective patterns before a breakout. On any time frame, it's time frame agnostic. So we do it on the high time frames to kind of try to time the market and see where we could start looking for breakouts. But on the small time frames, you should do the same thing and be able to see the same thing. You do this enough, you will get a good idea as to when you can start expecting breakouts in earnest. Okay, so this I want to look at as a breakout because I'm seeing 3 pairs of corrective waves there, and we just got a move, I think, in the last few minutes that looks impulsive to me, right? It just broke to the upside. So let's look at this. Let's look at this on the 5-minute time frame. This is very wicky, very, very wicky. Let's see, let's pull a fib from the bottom to the top. Or would it be here? Because this could also be wave 1, wave 2. Right? Because the time it took to come up, same time it took to come down. This could be it right here. Okay? This could be it. Because look at where we're coming back down at support. Right at the 618, which is the neckline of this entire pattern. This rising wedge or whatever you want to call it. Okay? So that may be it. Okay, that's on the really small time frame. Okay, so that's how I'm analyzing Doge. Let's see, what time is it? We still have a little bit of time. We can keep going. Guys, if you're getting value, please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget. Okay, Polkadot. Okay, same thing. You're at your neckline, but you've been at your neckline. This isn't new. You've been threatening this breakout for quite some time, right? You can clearly see that this pattern is coiling up. It's not, I wouldn't say that it is a contiguous triangle, but it just so happens that you're making higher lows and really threatening to break this resistance. That shows you that the big breakout is coming, okay? Doesn't tell you exactly when it's coming. To answer that question, we do what we've been doing, okay? We count on any time frame after a a drawdown, after a distribution, a distributive move, we look for the 2 degrees of AB basing. Okay, that would be my first. This would be my second. And this would be my third. Okay, 2 degrees of AB basing and a pivot. 3 pairs of corrective moves. I think this is finally your move up and out. I think this is finally your move up and out. Let's go on the 15-minute time frame. It's annoying how they move that auto button, because I would have clicked that really quickly just to zoom in here. Okay. I think you're getting that breakout here. I think you're getting that breakout right here. Right there. Okay. So this looks good. This looks really good. Okay, let's move on. DYDX. What are we looking at? All right, we're seeing this pattern again and again, right? This kind of wind, or what would you call it? Inverse head and, or no, not inverse head and shoulders. Cup and handle pattern, okay? Some sort of cup and handle pattern where you've got this neckline and you're making successively higher lows. And again, I think we can count, sorry, it would be like this. 1 pair, 2 pairs, 3 pairs of corrective waves, and then you have your little head and shoulders pivot up and out of this region. Okay, so let's zoom in real quick. And okay, it looks like it to me. It looks like it to me. It's very convincing that you're threatening to break this resistance once and for all to the upside. Okay, let's just check. Do we have any breakouts yet? Any breakouts yet? Okay, besides bonk, we do not. Okay, sand maybe sandbox. Okay, sandbox broke out. So do you see? Look, this is where a lot of these assets were. They broke out. Sand broke out. So we may expect the same thing from these other assets, but thus far we haven't really gotten any. Maybe Ethereum, other than bonk and sand, we haven't really gotten any. Okay. So what was that? DYDX we're on? I think we just did DYDX, okay? Ethereum. Okay, so you're at neckline. You're at a neckline of this cup and handle pattern, okay? And that's your cup and handle pattern. And let's see. Let's zoom out for a second. Okay, you're on support, right? That's the first thing I see. You're on support. Whatever, you've been going up, right, diagonally, but you're on support and you just hit that support and bounced off it in a straight line. Very likely that this is your impulse in Ethereum. Okay, that's the easy read. You know, we don't have to go into any more detail. That is very likely. I mean, you could just look at it and see, okay, every other time you bounce off of this support, you go up, but the way you went up in relatively straight line with little sort of consolidation intermittently tells you that this is likely your impulsive move up and out. Hedera hash graph. Here again you have your head and shoulders, but it's bullish. I think that this is a strong level right here. Okay. And we can count this as being 1 pair, or actually, let's see. Yeah. 1 pair, 2 pairs, 3 pairs of corrective waves. So now you're looking for a breakout right here. Okay. no need to go on the smaller time frame. I think we can see that clearly enough. Okay, chain link. First pair, second pair, your third pair is a bull flag. That's what I'm seeing. Lit Tentry, first pair, second pair, and this is your last pair. And then a breakout is what you're looking for. I'm zooming in. It looks promising, it looks promising, it looks promising. Okay. Litecoin. Okay, this is your first pair of corrective waves. This is your second pair, I would say right here. And this is your final right here. Ooh, hold up. Okay, this is your second pair right there. And then this is your final pair. 3 waves up, 3 waves down. I'm seeing a move up from there. Let's just zoom in real quick. Okay, I think you're putting in that head and shoulders again. So on a smaller time frame, were you to read this, it would be something like this. First pair, second pair, and this is your pivot or your final pair right there. Okay. Yep, that's what it looks like to me. So it's Litecoin, MOVR. I'm looking at this as my this is tricky. Let's see. This is tricky. This is tricky. Hold up. Okay, I think this is your first pair right here. I think this is your second pair right there. I think it's a zigzag, and this is a contiguous 3-wave move. It just takes some time. And then I think that your final pair is like this. And this is the start of your impulse. Or the start of, where you should start looking for your impulse. You probably haven't yet begun your impulse, but maybe a bit of consolidation reversal, and then your impulse comes like right there. That's my best read on that. Okay, that's MOVR. Harmony 1. Okay, I think this has started to break out. This is another one that started to break out. It's actually one of the first in my watch list. Okay. My first pair. My second. Oh, my first pair is like this. Okay, my second pair, and then my last pair. The start, my AB basing after all of that, and then my breakout right there. RSR, first pair. This is a proper. Is this a zigzag or a flat correction? It doesn't matter. This is my first pair. It's probably a zigzag. This is my second pair. And this is my final pair. It's a zigzag. This is my head and shoulders. Bullish head and shoulders, and then breakout. Sand, we looked at this just now. This breakout happened right here. Okay, we can expect that throughout the altcoin market, in my estimation. Sorry, this is my first pair. This is my second pair. I think all of this is a bull flag. This is my bullish head and shoulders breakout. Boom. Okay, Sheeb, very volatile. First pair, second pair. I'd say my third pair is like this. Do you see that? 1, 2, 3 right there. And then I think my impulse starts over here. Let's see. Yeah, I can see that. I can see this as being the beginning of my impulse, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 3 waves. Or, 3 waves down, right? Something like that. And then the continuation. Okay. Synthetics. We're almost there. We're at the S. Synthetics. Let's say this is my first pair. It's clearly a flat correction. This is my second pair. It's a zigzag. And I'd say this is my final pair right here. So I'm looking at this as being the beginning consolidation taking me into a pure impulse right here. Okay, Telcoin. Let's zoom out for a bit. Okay, the first thing that jumps out at me is that historically, this level has proven to be support, right? On this side of things, and then you dip down, and then on this side of things, right? It's proven to be support. So you're putting in a massive inverse head and shoulders. That's the first thing that jumps out at me. Secondly, I want to say this is my first pair. This or hold up. Yeah. This is my first pair. This is my second pair. This is my third pair, which is a zigzag. So 1, 2, 3. And then whatever you see here, small degree consolidation reversal for impulse. Okay. Theta, just added that last night. Okay, this is a big bull flag right there. This is the breakout, the ensuing breakout. And you're just making another one. Another bull flag right there. So this is my first pair. This is my second pair. So two 2 bull flags. 1 bull flag, 2 bull flags. This is a really bullish asset. And then finally a flat correction for a breakout. That's what I'm seeing on Theta token. Let's just look really closely here. You can see another, once again, your bullish head and shoulders pattern. And then on a small time frame, you have your head and shoulders pattern. Also, once more, resulting in what's likely going to be an impulse. Okay, so that's Theta token. Tron. Very, very wiki. Let's just zoom out for a second. Okay, this is quite clearly your first pair right there. That's your first flat correction. And then this is your second flat correction right here. Okay, and now this is massive zigzag. I think that's quite clear. And now you just get an impulse. So 3 degrees of AB, or 2 degrees of AB basing and a pivot. 3 pairs of corrective waves before your impulse. That's what I'm seeing. V-chain. Look at all this correction. Look at all this consolidation. Literally, if you've been holding these altcoin, you've been just waiting and waiting and waiting and had just chop. Most people get bored and shaken out by that price action. And if you stick around, you're going to make it. You're going to make it. So 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, 3. This is really bullish. Again, you have just a succession of bull flags. So 1 bull flag, 1 bull flag, 1 bull flag. So 3 zigzags, and then finally a flat correction on the smaller time frame for a pivot to breakout for V-chain. That's what I'm seeing. XRP, this is the penultimate one because the last letter is Z, and we do hold Zilliqa, a Zilliqa position. Whoops. It's almost at the top of its bull market or bear market consolidation channel. So let's just read this right here. After this drawdown right here, that's a flat correction. That's another flat correction. That's a third flat correction. So 3 sets of flat corrections. What you want to see is this on the small time frames, consolidation reversal for a breakout. That's what I'm seeing. Let's just check. Looks like it. This looks very bullish in that you have a rounded bottom, designating an extremity, and then a lot of hammer candles, right? So it's likely to be that this break up, not down. Last but not least, Zilliqa. It is work, my friends. Doing this analysis on a daily basis and, you know, just keeping on your P's and Q's, just checking your charts, reading them over and over again. It's work. It's not the easiest thing. But it sharpens your sword. It's if you want to be elite at reading charts, if you want to be really consistent, if you want to be able to read all kinds of mess of price action, this is what you have to do. You have to read a lot, and then you're going to get facility in reading charts, right? You're going to start to see patterns more and more. There's no secret. Okay, this is a zigzag quite clearly. 5 waves up, 3 waves down, minimum 0.5 Fibonacci retracement of the flag to the flagpole. Okay, so I would say that that's 1 degree. You have a second degree, again a zigzag, and then finally a flat correction right there. and a breakout. So 2 degrees wavy basing and a pivot. I'm waiting for the breakout if it has yet to show up, and it has yet to show up. But yeah, I'm expecting the breakout. I'm expecting this cup and handle, which you can call, right? This is kind of the cup. This is kind of the handle, right? It's broken out, retest, and to go. Okay, so I'm very bullish on the markets. If you guys can't tell, I'm bullish on these altcoins. Our Bitcoin dominance is, our Bitcoin dominance, where is that? Our Bitcoin dominance is coming down finally, right? This is, our altcoins are starting to break out. Our total 2 market cap, right? Basically the whole entire cryptocurrency market minus Bitcoin starting to break out of its 300-day accumulation pattern. And last but not least, the DXY is breaking down, so all of crypto can break up. So very bullish on the charts. A few assets have already broken out, namely Bonk and Sand. Yes, Bonk and Sand. And do expect for the rest of them to follow suit. So that's it for me, guys. Hope this was helpful. Hope this was useful. Like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you tomorrow.